Okay, I'm starting recording. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our movie club. Today we'll discuss a movie. It's hard to read actually from this slide. Annihilation. Annihilation. How to read this usually?
Annihilation.
Annihilation. Annihilation. Wow. Okay.
So I can see that you have scrambled DNA here where your letters are growing plants.
It's not me, it's our artist, Vasant.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, good one. Okay, let's start. Leila, did you have a chance to watch this movie?
Yes, I watched.
Okay.
Because that was today I was at home.
Okay.
So I will
start.
Okay.
Yes.
The film starts with the ladies being questioned in a facility. I thought it was a hospital at first, but then I understood that I was mistaken. By a man who was wearing a kind of protective clothing.
Hazmat suit.
Hazmat suits, thanks, Lee. And she has bruises and scars on her face. She looks exhausted. I didn't understand what was happening then. Then the flashback starts, okay? And I did understand that her name is Lena, a biologist and former soldier. And then I just saw her lecturing about a cancer cell at university, I think. And then she left the university, she went home, and then I understood that her husband has been missing for a year almost. And a black guy asked her a question. Okay, let's go to the cinema, blah, blah, this kind of thing. She refused him. And she said that she was going to paint her house. She went to her house, and then the music was playing, and suddenly a man came.
Okay, let's stop here for a bit. You know, so Daniel, a black guy, he was Lena's paramour. How to read this?
Lena's paramour.
Paramour. Guys, do you know this word? Let me copy it from Padlet. So paramour, it's something in whom you are interested in, in romantic way, right?
Kind of like a mistress, but paramour is gender neutral.
Okay, and Leila, important fact, he invited her not to cinema or something, but he invited her to barbecue. Do you remember?
Yes.
Is it legal to decline invitation to barbecue?
Of course.
Really?
Because at that time I didn't understand that they had a kind of affair, but I thought she was really deeply in love with her husband.
They were just the black guy was a colleague. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I didn't, just get the message. So I said barbecue. Even he asked me about chocolate. I said no if I am in love with somebody.
Okay, and she was Lena, biologist. She was actually in love with her husband, right? We can see it because of her suffering, because of her feelings.
Feeling guilty. We will talk about it. Real love, no, it can't be like that.
Okay. I didn't
Gerard, don't laugh.
But teach us why real love? What can do real love? Real love.
You are asking me?
Yeah. So you just said so that real love cannot make you feel guilty, right?
My dear friend, she made love with a black guy.
Yeah.
If you are really in love with somebody, how could you make love with another person? For me, it is not ethical.
No, I don't know. But I heard it happens from time to time.
No.
Lee, help me.
It's human nature, I'm afraid. We got a 50% divorce rate over here, so what can I say?
And
okay, have the divorce. Can't go and make love with anybody you want.
But you cannot, because you know you are in lockdown, lockdown, you know.
Confined.
No, Ivan.
So, and actually, lockdown is breaking families. You know, have you heard about this?
Yeah.
I understand why.
I understand why myself. You know, I'm a remote worker. Staying at home is something normal for me. But I never realized that I never stay at home with all my kids. They always were working. So something changed and changed drastically. Okay, let's continue. So her husband suddenly came to home, returned. Right? He was missed in action, right? Mia. Can I say so, teacher?
We say MIA.
MIA. He was MIA, and suddenly we can see him. Sergey, could you please describe this scene? Continue with the story.
And Lena was very, very glad to meet you, her husband, and but husband behaved strangely, I think, without emotions, without hugs, and in several minutes, husband felt bad. And Lena called to ambulance, and she drive to him together inside the ambulance, and suddenly military guys stopped the ambulance and took Lena and took her husband. And after several minutes, we saw the psychologist in a military base, and who is talking about flicker and about strange territory.
Shimmer.
About
Shimmer.
It's got a glowing surface. What is a shimmer, teacher? What is it?
Shimmer means it's like the northern lights. It's visually unstable.
Sergey, and what your husband told her about his absence?
And he answered to her questions. And where is your stay 1 year? I don't know. What's happened? I don't know. But maybe you know some languages: Portuguese, Pakistan, Hindi. I don't know. What? I can't understand you. Why you came to talk me about her trip?
I like it. I like it. The line for 1 year absence. You need a better explanation for me.
Yes.
It's what my wife always told me. Yeah. Okay, so now they are in some kind of area X, right? And she's learning about this supernatural, let's say, I don't
Place, maybe.
place, or I don't know, event or something. Gerard, could you continue, please, with story?
Okay. So Lena has had a past being in the army. He was in the army for 7 years. And she and other women are in a mission to go inside the shimmer, because other groups before them, a group of males or soldiers, were sent inside the shimmer, but they didn't come back. And now they sent her because she has a relationship with this guy. I don't remember the name of this guy.
Kane, right?
Kane.
Her husband.
So they go inside the shimmer with automatic rifles, but with a small caliber.
Yeah, so we forgot to mention, it was a very special thing about Kane, right? He was the first one, the first thing, the first signal, the first man who returned back from this phenomenal place.
Yes.
Shimmer.
Okay.
We can see, I think we see in the beginning of the movie a meteorite that falls into a lighthouse. It makes a hole and goes inside. And later we discover that the lighthouse is the center of this shimmer.
Yeah.
So the shimmer is expanding.
Yeah, but tell us more about their expedition. You know what they faced.
To investigate what's going on in the shimmer.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, but can you describe their experience? What they like?
They realize that in the shimmer, vegetation, animals, everything is weird. There are a lot of mutations, and everything is changing. They find some monster, a big crocodile that kills one of them. Then later, a bear.
Was it a bear? I did not. I did not.
Some sort of bear, but
yeah.
And they have such small weapons with a small caliber that they cannot kill those animals easily. Whereas if they had a Kalashnikov, they could have killed them easily.
Well, you know, but for just ladies, you know, for scientists, they are very well in this, you know, military things. I didn't expect that. So give me a rifle and send me somewhere. I will lose it in one moment, you know. But they don't.
I think the army thought that because the male commando team couldn't succeed in the mission, they thought maybe a female team.
Yeah. Male always fall foul. We know that. So.
The aliens make the difference between male and female.
but let's say that in the movie it was kind of a natural thing. So it wasn't like it was a choice between male and female group, right? Nobody told us that male all are fail, you know, nothing like this. It was just a natural thing. Why we sent them? Because we had them, right? In our base.
But I see a trend in late movies these last years that more female roles, more important, you know, taking more part in action movies.
The trend is clear, but nobody, at least in that movie, nobody says that all the men were rapists or something. So it's already a good movie. You know? Teacher Lee, please.
I think though in the movie, Lena did ask Dr. Ventress why all women, and she said, well, none of the men came back, so we thought maybe the women will have maybe women might make a difference. I think she did touch on the fact that the men, the ones that went in were all men and nobody came back. So maybe a woman might be the alien, you know, the shimmer might react to women differently than it reacted to men, whatever the situation was. So I think it was a deliberate experiment, but coincidentally they had a bunch of women there. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Abdul, what is your favorite animal, you know, from the shimmer?
The shimmer. I see two fishes in the water. Some beautiful fishes with long tail, and they are transparent. Two fishes was there.
Yep.
When she says, other than the cruel animals, I saw a beautiful place with beautiful weather. At that location, I saw two fishes moving in the water. Those were the what animals you asked?
Kind of like this, yeah. I like, there are many, but I like it that crocodile, that gator, you know, it was something. Alligator, yeah.
I like the pig. I like the wild boar that said, help me. I thought he was pretty scary.
Very scary. Especially when you are attached to your chair, you know. So.
Yeah.
Help me. Okay, Abdul, so can you continue with the story? So they entered into the shimmer, and what happened to them? Yeah.
What happened to them when they continued for moving further? When they realized they have they woken up at a different place and see tents all over, and they ask each other how we get here and what happened. Why this much of food we gained? Is it been like 2 days or 4 days? Don't remember anything. After that, they decide to move further and go to the lighthouse. Initially, they were searching for some place, but later they decide to go lighthouse. In that thing, they'll reach a house where they'll find some water and a place where Josie was pulled up by a thing which we don't know. Later we come to know it's an alligator, crocodile. Mm, Josie fights at the crocodile, but didn't go well. And when Lena shoots at the alligator with non-stop bullets, the alligator dies, and they'll do some research on it that the jaws were shaped the jaws were actually made of shark teeth rather than having the alligator's teeth.
Yeah.
They'll come to know that something is crossbreed here. That's the reason this crocodile looks like that. And Josie can't hold the mouth of the crocodile much longer. She says that it's getting heavier. I just need to pull it off. Then she leaves that. That's the end. They'll proceed further to continue their journey to find more things.
Yeah.
And they'll find a place where they'll get a memory card. They'll watch that memory card. In that, they'll see Kane is cutting his co-soldier stomach with a knife.
Yeah.
And
let me interrupt you for a second. So what could be a good word for this? To gut someone or to teacherly help us when you?
Well, they weren't gutting him. They were just cutting off the outer layer to inspect his internals. Kind of like an autopsy. They just remove the skin to look inside.
So almost a medical procedure, right?
Yeah, a little bit. But they were just like removing the skin from the abdomen.
Okay, and in opposite, like gutting someone means that you clear all the inside, right?
You take the guts out, yeah.
Okay, I see. Thank you. Abdul, please continue.
Looking at that figure, I first thought that it could be an intestine, which is looked like a snake. Then I thought it's bulged up. It could be a bulged up thing, and they talk about something is moving inside his stomach, and then they just shuts the video, and everyone were terrified, and the team leader moves out to a place where she'll find a structure with some dead bodies, and in that place at that place I saw a particular thing. The number 8 was visible on the hand, and which was there on which was not there on Lena's hand. Later at the end of the movie, we will see that number 8 on her hand. That's the thing I noticed there. It was clearly visible because at below to that number 8 there was a watch. That's the reason I was able to remember the number 8 tattoo.
Yeah.
So Josie thinks this could be a terrible thing to stay here. Let's go back to place where we come from. But team leader, I don't remember the team leader's name. Venice, I guess. She says, "I need to continue this journey with you or without you."
Yeah, Ventress.
Dr. Ventress, right?
Ventress.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they'll just come out of the place and they'll see a map. Like Kane and his team were watching the place. It could be. They says that it's a headquarters, so they keep a watch to see if someone coming in or going out.
We have to guard the perimeter, right?
Guarding the thing in different time intervals, 2 p.m., 8 p.m., and 8 a.m. I guess 3 different time levels.
Okay, let me ask you, how we call this? Time when you serve to society, a shift or something. So from
a watch or a shift.
Okay, so it was my watch. For instance, my watch is from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay. Exactly.
Okay.
We say stand watch means you're on duty for that time.
Okay. Thank you, Abdul. Thank you. Let's continue. Vasant, could you please tell us what happened after?
Yeah. After that, one of the 2 members was died she was attacked by a bear. Then later, Lena found that she tested her blood in the microscope, and it showed that her gene was also affected by the shimmer. And she was terrified, and somehow the one of the crew members sensed her anxiety. Then later, she found out that her chain with a locket. Is that a locket?
Locket,
Yeah,
yep.
okay. With a locket that has her husband's photo in it. So she remembered his face from the video clip. So she thought that she lied about the relationship with the soldier. So she tied her up, and she tied all three of the crew members because she didn't want to take a risk, because she didn't believe any of them. At that time, the same bear mimics the voice of the dead lady. Then she was attracted by that voice, and she wanted to help her, but sadly she was killed by the bear. Then later, Lena managed to kill the bear.
Let me interrupt for a second. Have you noticed that this bear, or what animal it was, or boar, or I don't know what it was, but it did not eat the body, right? So we can see this body. They just killed without reasons, it seems. What do you think? So it was just a real predator, a real hunter. It was a hunting for humans. So what was the reason to attack?
Maybe the gene, its gene was refracted. That's how it got the ability to speak in human voice, to make a human voice. So it's somehow a balanced mix of human and animal gene. So I think the human gene makes it not to eat the human flesh. Maybe.
Teacher Lee, what do you think?
As you might imagine, I was puzzled by what the movie was really trying to say. The message was kind of vague. So I looked up several interpretations of the movie, and one commenter said that the shimmer seemed to attack beings that weren't part of the shimmer. In other words, they had kind of pure DNA. So one of the theories was the animals attacked them because they were not of the shimmer at that early point in time.
So
I don't know if that's true or not.
They were alien to this shimmer, and they try to capture and kill them.
Yeah.
Okay, so they managed to kill the animal, and what they started? They started to move. They had like an argument, right? So we will go there. No, we will return back. And there was a trick. So Lena, she like made a trick. She said it will be better if you go there. It's easy to return and all the things. So actually, they went forward, right? And they visited some kind of, I said summer house or something, some place for picnic, and they were like bushes or flowers in the shape of humans. Do you remember that? Yeah. For a moment, I imagined that it was like real humans who I don't know, be captured by flower or something. Leila, would you like to have such a flower in your garden?
Thank you. No. No, it may look nice, but it is, just irritating. No.
Well, it doesn't look nice to me. I would be very scared of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, teacher Lee, please.
It's a little spooky looking. If you've ever been to Disney World or seen pictures of Disney World, they trim the bushes in animal shapes. Yeah. So some tourist attractions will do that. You'll see bushes that'll look like a deer or a dog or a rabbit. But in this movie, that wasn't a trimming, that was a natural growth pattern, which was kind of weird. And the physicist, I think, commented on that. This is actually using the DNA in it to grow into a human shape.
Yeah, but maybe it's our future, So people getting know to more and more about genome, and maybe one day we can, buy a small, I don't know, seed and plant it in our garden and have, I don't know, an elephant or my picture or something. It will happen. I hope.
We have an expression when you meditate. We say, "Be one with nature." So in this movie, literally, you become one with nature over time.
Yeah. Nature captures you. Nature's have you. Okay, Leila, could you please continue with the story? We are close to finish already.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that when she met the copy of her copy, I just stopped watching, and then I watched the end.
Okay, no
because
too creeped out.
No, it was scary now. But I watched how Josie went away, leaving Lena on her own, and I couldn't understand how Lena could be so determined to go on. And I thought that it could be because she felt guilty because of her husband's situation. Maybe she thought that her husband went on this mission because of her. I don't know.
Well, she continued because her goal was different. Ventress wanted to solve the mystery that she'd been working on for years.
Yeah.
Lena came in to save her husband.
Because she felt guilty, right?
Well, it's also her husband, but yeah, both of them, love and guilt.
It's always together, yeah. But maybe not because of not only because of that, right? There was like a spectrum of motivation, this and that and those, and many things. Okay, so Lighthouse. What she met at Lighthouse, Leila?
Ventress, the lady was there, right? She
Yeah.
had cancer, and she went there because of her being cancer or her having cancer. Didn't help the shimmer a lot because there are a lot of mutating plants and animals, but with Ventress, no, nothing happened. I think she was dying.
It's interesting that cancer, it's actually another kind of mutation. That's all, right? So,
Yeah.
so it was probably, we have a saying that minus by minus get you plus. So maybe Ventress tried to make the same. I have a cancer, so let's go to shimmer and I will be, I don't know, a healthy person maybe. Shirley, please.
If you were very observant when Lena first saw Ventress, Ventress's back was to her, and her eyes were covered over by skin.
Mm-hmm.
So that may have actually been a clone of Ventress that was a finishing being formed. And when she turned around, she had a human eyes. So that may have been Ventress's clone. We don't know, but it looks like it was.
I believe it was. Yeah, I believe it was because we have seen after that a clone of Lena. It has the same behavior. Skinned face and all those things. Yeah. What happens with the clone? So why it was? What's the word for this when you have a fire from your from your mouth? Erupting fire or something?
Erupting is okay, yeah. Flames erupt from your mouth. So this, according to the interpretations I read, okay, when Ventress basically self-annihilated.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of turned into light energy and kind of blew up. So she was annihilated, and a drop of Lena's blood got into this energy, and then it reformed as her clone. I don't know why it needed to clone her instead of being Ventress's clone.
Interesting.
Well,
go ahead.
I think it was a different time frame. You know, first clone was annihilated, and then it was like a sphere or something. I don't know. And and then it took a spit of blood, a dash of blood of Lena, and started to. I don't know. It's hard to say. Sergey, tell us what happened after Lena's blood came to this sphere or something. And you're muted, Sergey.
Yeah, she saw the creature looks like a metal human, and the creature repeated all moving of Lena, and Lena fold and creature fold. Lena up the hand, and the creature up the hand.
Sergey, we lost you. Okay, you're back. So we can see you.
Yeah, and after that, they have a fight between them, and Lena tried to run from the lighthouse, but creature press Lena to a door, and I didn't understand, but it's looked like the unifying between Lena and creature.
Yeah. What it was, guys? What do you think? What was this episode when clone tried to, I don't know, to squash her to the door? So because it was like not logical. Instead, except this moment, clone was just repeating all this, of this movement. But suddenly she tried to press her into the door. What it was, I don't understand actually.
I think it's a replica of the replica of Lena. The force Lena is applying, the clone also applying the same force. When she moved towards the door, she tried to open it, but clone was coming from behind her, right? She pushed her to the door, and Lena was resisting with the power. So clone also resisting, but in forward direction. So she couldn't resist further as their sources were same.
So you're saying it's just the physics, right? They will
she's trying to push forward and she's moving backwards. Okay. At last she will give up and she relax and she fall down. The clone also fall down.
That's interesting. That's interesting. But normally they move in the same direction, I think, don't they? I'm not sure, but you're right, Ivan. That part was weird because it almost looked like she was trying to harm Lena, which didn't make sense based on the mimicking we had been seeing. I think what was happening there, and again, we don't know, but I think two things were happening. One, she was keeping Lena from going out the door. Mm-hmm. And two, remember that she had no features. She was just like liquid metal. Mm-hmm. So pressing against Lena may have helped the DNA transfer so she could take human form more precisely, more quickly. That might have been what she was doing, was full contact to finish her transformation. But I'm guessing.
Let's call it like taking material, right? Taking DNA. Okay.
Yeah.
Vasans, please.
Yes, this part is a little bit weird because of the mirror, how to say that, mirror image replication. If she turns away and the clone is also doing towards her, so whatever she does, the clone is also doing the same. But when she was crushed against the door, she would have tried to go backward to resist the pressure. But ironically, the clone is pressing forward. That doesn't make sense, I don't understand.
Gerard, please.
I thought in this moment when the clone was mimicking Lena, that Lena would attract the clone to the hole. This hole.
Yeah.
So if the clone could have fallen inside the hole, Lena could have escaped.
Yeah. So if someone mirroring you, mimicking you, you have a power, right? You can mimic him to somewhere. Make it like a trick. Teaching me.
Yeah, and also if she runs towards the door, the clone should run away from her, you know, if it does it. But that doesn't make sense.
Okay, teacher.
But remember when she first saw her clone forming inside the hole, she ran out.
She started to shoot. Do you remember?
Well, she shot, but it didn't do any good. So she ran out of the hole towards the door, and the clone apparently teleported, and it was in front of the door blocking her. So the clone can, it appears teleport.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I like it very much. This this small like strings or something made by bullets. Do you remember? So she started to shoot. Bullet came through the body of clone and made like, I don't know, small like thin strings.
Yeah, little filaments or ribbons. It looked kind of like wings, butterfly wings or something.
Yeah. And it was so strange, ballistic, and it was interesting. Okay,
it was beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah,
graceful.
Something new in that movie. I haven't watched it before, never.
Yeah.
Okay, so where we stopped? I forgot whom I interrupted already. Sergey, it was you, right?
Yeah.
So please continue. So they had a fight, and after?
Yes, and after we saw the strange moment when they took hands to each other, and Elena put the grenade inside the hands and put the rings, and I can't understand how it works, because before the creation, the clone have teleported, but now she saw to the grenade some seconds, 1 second or 2 seconds, and Lena went out, but after that clone blowed out, include lighthouse and include the territory, I think.
Yeah. So you're saying that this creation, it was actually smart, right? And how how it lost
it's only granite.
and we know for sure that this creature it used to use this grenade before with Cain, right? With the soldier.
Yeah.
Cain was human. Cain was human.
Yeah.
The clone was alien.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a difference. I thought the same thing. Cain couldn't absorb the DNA of the explosion, but the clone, I think the clone was curious about this new object. What is this? Let me absorb its DNA. And when it blew up,
come on.
Well, don't forget, this is an alien presence. All it does is it absorbs DNA. That's all it does. So I think it absorbed, it saw this metal phosphorus burning, and it tried to become one with it. So it was almost like a virus infected the DNA matrix.
I see.
And everything started burning, and she started spreading it everywhere.
Sergey, remember yourself when you was a young soldier and they give you a grenade. What gave you a grenade? What did you do? Right? The first thing.
Wow.
I think not.
But I like this theory. I like this theory. I like this like idea. So the clone, this alien, this creature, he tried to become a fire, right? He tried to, but fire has no DNA, only living creatures.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch this part, and you are laughing.
But it was not human, Layla. It was just, a machine. I don't know, something, not from the earth.
That was the part I didn't watch. Thank you.
Okay.
It merged with something that didn't really have any DNA, so it didn't make sense.
Right.
Okay, but it merged, so it was killed by this phosphor grenade. So you don't have to, to send all this mail, all these armies. Just send one girl with a grenade, and it will be solved.
Yeah, stupid moment for this movie. This movie started to very interesting, and we saw interesting idea, interesting realization of this idea. But only granted, seriously, I don't.
Not only granted, it's also curious, right? Curiosity.
Curiosity. Yeah.
Okay, but if you remember, in the end, when Lena met her husband, they produced the creation, and we can understand that she is not Lena; she is alien. I think.
I think. Well, I don't know. I actually was going to ask you: is Lena a real Lena now? You know, or she's a clone? Because when when they had this fight, and when the clone like was changing his face, I thought for a moment that I lost like traction. Who is who? So probably it's my opinion. Probably they could be messed, So
Yeah,
Lena
yeah,
is a
yeah.
clone actually, or something like this. So I'm asking you, guy, what do you think? Is it possible? Abdul, please.
Yeah, you just said now. Just what Lee said that uh, clones only clone the who has DNA. So fire doesn't have a DNA.
Right.
That's the reason she hold the grenade and it blows up, and she started spreading it all over the lighthouse. In the end, the clone asks, or the Lena asks the other guy, you are not Cain, aren't you? That question, right?
Yes. Yes.
Are you Cain or aren't you? Then the guy Cain asks the same question. You are not Lena, and she doesn't answer. And they hug, and their eyes started to glow. So how is it how it could be possible that Lena blows up the lighthouse and clone came
Okay.
back to us?
As far as I understand, we have two possible explanations. First one, somehow it's a clone of Lena. Somehow. Usually denies, but let's discuss it. Another, another explanation, there's a possible explanation that because of changing of her DNA and her blood, actually, she's not Lena anymore. She's something, more advanced or more. Tell us what. So, but she's not a human, just human, as long as her husband as well. So, what theory we will
If we
follow?
consider clone has blown up the lighthouse and Lena has came, but with some advanced powers. It could be advanced powers. She has some mutations inside, and that's the reason eyes are glowing. And she forgot some memory of Lena's, and she lives along with the environment or the radiation or the mutants which she bought from Shimmer. We have to assume these things. Like she could
Okay,
be a
so
next superwoman.
so this question and this glowing of their eyes, they actually the end of the movie. So now we have think about it, right? So my first question to you: so is Cain a human or a clone or advanced human, or who is he now? What do you think?
According to the video which was played in the movie, I think the person who came back is clone with Kane's memory, some memory that there is a Lena who is a wife of Lane, original Lane, who died with two phosphorus grenades blowing off.
Okay, and we can see
Ah,
that Cain and Lena, she kind of alike, right? She's
yeah.
kind of the same. So she has the same glowing of eyes. So why she cannot be a clone, usually?
Yeah, I have a question here. We missed this part. When Cain removes the pins of the phosphorus grenades, there were two grenades which blows, but nothing happens to the lighthouse. Only he just blows. Some part of his was the wall shows that some part of it is black. It didn't explode that much. Whereas when Lena explodes one grenade, it catches fire so much.
Well, I guess it's because it was not only fire from grenade; it was fire from this alien as well, or something.
Now,
So
this was not a normal fragmentation grenade. This was a phosphorus grenade. What phosphorus is, it's an element on the periodic table. It's a metal, and it's unique because it can burn. So a phosphorus grenade, when it detonates, the metal burns and produces a bright light. So it's kind of like a flare or light grenade. If you want to illuminate a large area at nighttime, you throw a phosphorus grenade and the burning metal produces a lot of light. So it's kind of like a flare grenade. So when it blew up, it just burned his body. It wasn't a fragmentation grenade like you're thinking.
Mhm.
Okay, but he explored. He pulled off 2 grenades, I guess.
Well, he used one, and then
One.
there was another one right next to him
Okay.
that didn't burn up and blow up for some reason from the heat.
Actually, what about the previous my question, my previous question? So they were alike. So Kane and Lena. So why don't you think that Lena could be a clone as well?
Well, because we saw in the lighthouse, the clone grabbed the grenade. And if you looked at her face was kind of like puzzled or confused. Like, what is this? And then the real Lena ran.
Okay, let me ask you then. Could it be just Lena who is puzzled, not because what is that, but because should I follow my husband destiny or not?
No, I think Lena made it clear she wanted to live. She wanted to go in, solve the mystery, and come back out. And she knew that she had a Kane back in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I don't know. It's possible. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you a question from our Padlet. I don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting. So why she asked Cain, are you my husband? Are you? When she knows he is not his husband, but a clone, because she watched this video.
I wrote this question.
Yeah, nice. Thank you, Abdul. Questions always helpful. Leila, what do you think? Why she asked so?
Women feel, my dear.
Because she wanted to believe?
Of course, because his behaviors are different.
Okay, let me rephrase for a moment. So Lena thinking supposedly is so. I know that you are a dangerous alien, but because you look like my husband, I will believe that you're my husband.
Maybe she is trying to convince herself that he is Cain.
Well,
You're right. Yeah,
he wasn't dangerous. I mean, Cain never tried to hurt her.
At this point. At this point.
He is more romantic now.
Yeah, he was amnesiac. He was more confused. So I think she was asking, how much of my husband are you? Are you just the outside, or do you have his soul and his memories and his kindness? I think that's really what she was asking, but he didn't know the answer either.
But Lee, when they gave an embrace to each other, they gave a hug to each other, I didn't like his eyes. There was something strange.
Her eyes had the same thing. That was the point.
Yeah, not that frightening though.
So they were, neither one of them was fully human anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they are walking somewhere, So maybe we have a lockdown because of this.
They are among us. They're walking among us.
They bring that virus to us. Okay, so it's another question from the Padlet. So is it an accident or is there a purpose for this meteorite crash? What do you think? So alien choose this our yours deliberately or it's just an accident? It's just a question to practice your theories. Random event or I don't know.
To show their victory.
Show their victory? We don't know, right? We don't.
I'd like to give you 2 possibilities.
Please.
One, it could be just random. Just a meteor happened to hit the Earth and it had some kind of alien algae or plant growth on it. 2, it was deliberate. It was sent here by an alien race. Now, what did it do when it hit the Earth? It started terraforming the Earth into a new atmosphere, a new environment that eventually would make the whole Earth one single DNA matrix, if you will. So was it perhaps just a small terraforming device? And the aliens would come in 1,000 years and have a new planet to live on, and we'd be gone. I don't know.
Nice, yeah. Jart, what do you think?
Do you remember the theory that life came to Earth from a meteorite?
Yeah,
Maybe that's the inspiration of this movie.
So let's say changed at least, right? Well, maybe not created, but changed drastically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I like this question very much from our Padlet. Why couldn't the mutated animals come out of the shimmer? Yeah, so they mutate, why they don't spread? Sergey, what do you think? So this, you know, alligators and these bears, they would be.
I think the mutated animals have some energy maybe from the shipper.
Yeah, I agree.
So you're telling us that they're kind of unstable, right? They can survive, they can live, they can functionate only in this territory.
Yeah, I think if they go through the border of the area, they would have lost their heart, their
ability to
their
live.
force.
Okay. What else, please?
Yes, we can compare this to ourselves. When during the summer, we feel comfortable inside the air-conditioned room, and we don't want to get outside of the room. Maybe we can relate this to those animals. They feel comfortable inside the shimmer, I think.
Comfort zone.
Yeah, comfort zone, right?
Comfort zone.
Maybe they
Comfort
just scared, you know, of these non-mutated animals. They are disgusting, you know, so we will stay here in our place.
I agree with Sergey.
Okay.
But let me ask you a question, a counterpoint to the argument. Cain was a clone, and he did leave the matrix. He did leave the shimmer, but he was dying slowly, right? So the Earth's atmosphere must have been hostile to their DNA structure. But Cain was able to leave. But why did Cain leave? Cain told his clone, go find Lena. That might be the only reason the clone left. It had a mission, if you will.
Okay.
I don't know.
It was
Yeah, and I think that Cain is a messenger for Lena, for other person, for inviting the Lena inside this area.
But they don't have to invite, you know, people came without any invitation, you know, all these groups, all these male groups, all the soldiers. You don't have to invite them.
I think the area wanted to see Lena.
Beautiful woman, okay.
Yeah, beautiful woman. Yeah. But I think that maybe it is the first part of the franchise. I don't know. Maybe.
So we will see sequels.
Yeah, in the next movie, they explained us why is Lena is the main character, maybe.
Okay. It's a good point. Yeah, so it's kind of an open ending, right? We know that both of them survived, both of them there, but we don't know why and what will happen. So let's wait for sequel, you know, in a few years.
Yeah, and I remember the moment when they met in the end of the movie, when Lena asked, "Are you Cain?" and "Are you Lena?" And it looks like in the cartoon about Mowgli, and we have the similar blood. We have the similar blood.
Not similar blood, yeah.
But they have checked each other. Have you part of area inside you? Yes. And have you part the area inside you? Yeah. But
I see. Good point. Yeah. Vasants, your question?
Yes, I have two questions. When the bear first attacked one of the soldier, we can clearly see there was an electric bulb was flaring. So the shimmer didn't affect the electricity. So it changes everything. It changes the magnetic field. It changes the gene, but it doesn't affect the electricity. And it engulfs. The second question is it engulfs almost all the things on the earth. But why wouldn't I'll say that? Why it didn't get any single spark, fire spark inside the shimmer? It engulfs a large area, but why couldn't it find a single fire particle inside the area? Even when Cain died, the clone was watching him dying and burning, and the light comes up. So why it wasn't curious? Why it didn't touch the fire at that point?
I've got a theory about that.
Please, sure.
We mentioned earlier, how can it absorb metal phosphorus grenade, right? And you mentioned the light bulb. The difference might be the light bulb was not touching any organic living matter. So it didn't absorb the light bulb and the electricity, but the grenade was in contact with the clone, so it was in contact with organic or living material. That might be a possible explanation. But that's a good point, Vasant. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Exactly, and Vasant just mentioned, and I totally forgot about that this alien or this meteorite, it's changed not only biological creatures, it changed magnetic fields, it makes it it's impossible to make radio messages and all these things. Yeah, so it was a powerful thing.
It refracted everything.
Yeah, so it's like a quarantine, right? It's
like a prism, yeah.
Prism, yeah. Okay, and let's cover the last question. So, what could be the pros and cons of this phenomenon? Yes, phenomenon, if it happened in real life. Abdul.
Yeah, adding to the previous question,
please.
That about Josie. Josie was bitten by a bear, but she turned into a tree. A flower tree. Why didn't she turn into a bear again, like zombies? If a zombie bite a man, he will turn into a zombie. Why not Josie turn into a bear, or Josie do not possess any qualities of bear? She just turned into a tree, a vegetarian. Why not non-vegetarian?
The bear was mostly bear DNA. She was mostly human DNA with plant growing out of her veins. I don't know.
I just start this one.
Okay, let's think a bit about this. About this shimmer. What would you like to have one in your country? In your place, just to make a picnic there or something.
Layla. I was wrong.
Okay, let's ask Gerard. Gerard, do you think it's a good place for tourism or something?
No, the problem is this shimmer is expanding. So with some time, all life in Earth would disappear.
Yes.
Exactly.
It was confined. It was a confined space. I don't know, like 10 kilometers radio. Okay, it's okay. You can investigate. You can do things, but if it's expanding, it's like a virus. I think in the movie it explained like the cells replicate, all this stuff. It's comparing this shimmer with a virus.
I would raise a comparative to Chernobyl and this zone around Chernobyl and this mutation, and there are a lot of mutation in this zone. So animals in Chernobyl zone, they actually like big animals and all these things. Yeah, it's real. In my area, close to Ekaterinburg, we have a nuclear reactor. A nuclear reactor has a small lake to take water from it or something. So people like to fish there because it's a warm lake and fish is humongous in this. I hope not because of radiation. Vasant, please.
Yes, if it happens in real, we would have a new form of species, because according to the biology, in the beginning there was a single cell species, then it transforms into fungus, right? Is that right? Fungus. Then yeah, so in this movie we can also see fungus kind of mutation, which is colorful, which is vivid, so it might lead to a different kind of species in future, maybe.
Okay, guys, let's do some slides because we have very little time.
Let me mention
Please,
one more thing, Ivan.
Please.
Only because I looked at the internet interpretations of the movie. The movie has two themes that constantly reoccur. One is cancer, and one is self-destruction. Remember, the woman was a biologist, and she was studying cancer and its growth and how it metastasizes and takes over the whole human body with cancer cells. The self-destruction part, Cain found out his wife was cheating on him, so he volunteered for a suicide mission, basically a self-destructive mission. He wanted to kill himself of a sort. The 5 women all had self-destructive tendencies.
Yes.
Lena had an affair, so she was destroying her marriage. One girl cut her arms because she didn't feel alive. One girl was a drug addict or an alcoholic. I can't remember. Alcoholic, I think. One girl had lost her daughter to leukemia, which is also cancer. So, and Ventress had cancer and she was going to die. So all of these women basically had no reason to live, which is probably why they died in the shimmer. But Lena was the only one that really didn't want to die. She wanted to solve the mystery, get back to her Cain husband, and maybe try to save him. So self-destruction and cancer were recurring themes in the movie. Just be aware of that.
Yep. Thank you very much. So we missed that, right? Yes. So this kind of making a suicide with a suicidal mission, that's what we missed. Yeah. Okay, let's make some slides, especially because we have some, I guess, some interesting. Leila, could we start with this one?
I hate this man.
Okay, let's change to this one. What about this? Okay, let's change a few. This one.
I'm trying to remember. Okay, this was the Ventress, right? The secretaress, the woman who has the cancer sitting, and I can see Lana looking at the computer. I think they are talking about shimmer or something like that. I can see a lot of windows full of glass, and you can see the scenery. I'm not sure, it could be shimmer or...
Yeah, it is, I guess.
It is, right. I can see a mug on the right and some files and the iPad, and that's all.
Mm-hmm. Usually, please help me to describe this, you know, this kind of a plant or like a surface between, you know, between shimmer and this fence. So it's kind of a zone that nobody is supposed to go to, right? So it's a...
Yeah, the shimmer is, it's like the surface of a soap bubble, if you will. It's like a light, light curtain, a curtain made of light. You can walk through it, but it's kind of blurry, so you can't really see through it.
Okay, let's say there is some, you know, something like vulcan or something dangerous, and there is a zone between you and this thing that it's prohibited to go there. So
the buffer zone.
Buffer zone. Thank you very much.
Or the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, where no one goes in.
I see. So for me, it looks like a buffer zone between Shimmer and this building. So they try to fence it, try to hide it from the public, I guess.
And they used to be at that base inside the Shimmer, but as the Shimmer got closer, they moved back to this new location.
Yep.
So they're always moving back as the Shimmer grows towards them.
Yep. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, go back to that picture, Yvonne. I noticed something I didn't see before.
There?
Look on her desk between the two people.
Yep.
It's the figure 8, the infinity symbol. I don't know what it is.
I guess it's a sand clock. You know, when it's two bubbles.
Hourglass.
Hourglass. Yeah.
But coincidentally, it has the figure 8 shape.
Infinity. Yeah.
So time is running out. Maybe, I don't know.
How we call it? Easter egg, right?
Yeah, an Easter egg. Yeah.
Easter egg, and it's Easter, guys. Yeah, Easter and Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Okay, so hospital. I don't know. Girls' gang preparing to, and this one. Okay.
The Ghostbusters.
Oh, they are lovely.
Vasant, please describe this one.
Yeah, this is where they're at the buffer zone and decided to go inside the Shimmer. And they're a little bit hesitating, and they are wearing military suit with a backpack. Is that a trekking backpack?
It looks kind of military to me because of design.
Probably food and, the yellow thing, I think, is their sleeping bag.
It's a tent, I guess.
Tent.
Maybe a tent inside there. Yeah. Yeah, the tents were yellow, weren't they? Okay. Now, one thing that didn't make any sense is when they first entered the Shimmer, for some reason, they all got amnesia and couldn't remember the first 4 or 5 days.
Yes.
But after that, they never lost any memory anymore.
Teacher Lee, because they had mutated.
I guess.
I watched this movie with my boys, at least the beginning, and when they looked at this very moment, they asked me, Father, who told them to pack these things, these backpacks, and, so they were just paramedic and scientists and so on. But in the moment, they switched to be, a grunts, a military soldiers. So they pack it well, they have their rifles and all these things.
Notice one backpack is different. I don't know why.
The one
The
on
one-
the left.
First left.
Yeah, I don't know why. Now I think it was Anya was the physicist. So she had like little electronic devices for reading the SIM chip. What luck,
Yeah. Okay, anything else about this picture? So trees, these trees, they are green and bright and they look to be happy. They
Normal against abnormal, yeah.
They don't scare of this shimmer or what is this? Okay, let's. Wow. I don't remember. So Gerard, please describe this one.
This picture reminds me of the movie Alien, like the corpses stuck on the wall in some alien structure. He is like a sort of fungus, the body of a man, and I think the skull is on the top. So there are 2 bodies. I don't know whether there are 2 bodies or one. And
I think it's one body. Remember his stomach is where the snakes were?
Okay.
So it looks like it grew apart from that, leaving his lower body there, and it moved his upper body upward.
Okay, so it torn it. What was the word for it? Torn? It's when you torn the paper, right?
Yeah, kind of stretched him upward as it grew. It raised the upper part of his body up high. The lower body stayed there. So that's all one body. That's his head way up high. It just got stretched out by the growth. I don't know. I'll mention one thing about this. This is a swimming pool.
Mhm.
And as you can see, it has a shallow end and a deep end,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
We have an idiom, if you go off the deep end, you go crazy.
Mhm.
So there may be a subtle pun here. They've gone into the deep end.
But so it's just an idiom, right? To go to the deep end. Right?
If you go off the deep end,
Go off the deep end. Okay.
it means you've lost your mind.
Sorry, Giraffe, for interrupting. So anything else?
Be more special here.
Nothing more. Usually, why this swimming pool is so small for a military base? Yeah. So,
Well, it's not that small. That's a pretty large pool.
yeah, but we always have like, Sergey, correct me. It must be 50 meters, right? 50 meters or 25. I forgot. So with us like 25. Yeah.
Yeah.
For swimming.
It's just for exercise. They're not practicing for the Olympics. It's just recreation.
Okay. So Tier Torn, Leila wrote me. Leila, you wrote me privately somehow, so privately.
Torn.
Yeah,
Tear, tore, torn.
Okay, I tried to remember this. So,
Yeah.
okay, let's go. Can we see a beer? No, no beer. Okay, let's describe this one. Sergey, can you?
Ooh.
This?
Sergey, please.
Yes, it's a physiologist. Sold to the trees like a humans, and she has a radio station in the old version of radio station, or satellite radio station. I don't know.
Can we call it like a talkie walkie or something? There was a name for this radio station.
Walkie-talkie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And behind we can see the metal construction like in Russian yards for children.
It's a, I don't know how we call this. It's a like playground, just playground, I guess.
Playground, yeah, metal playground for children.
Trellis roof.
Just kind of a frame, but it's not real solid. It's just a framework. Yeah.
Yeah, she wears a French.
Is it a French? Actually, do you know this word, French? It's kind of a
uniform.
Oh, the uniform?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just a jacket. No
yeah.
special name.
Yeah, so we have a special name, but I thought it's not English. We call it a French or something like this type of clothes.
Okay, I don't know
English.
that. Okay. All right.
Okay, guys, let me ask you a question to you about this this episode. So I remember that she was looking to this, bodies, and then she had like an eureka moment. She said, oh, "Now I understand why radio station doesn't work." So what pointed her to this eureka moment? So what she saw.
She was a physicist, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And as physicist, she knows that light can be reflected, absorbed, like a black hole, or refracted. So the signals weren't being reflected, because if the signals reflected, they would hear their message come back. But they weren't hearing the message come back, but she heard noise. So she figured the signals are there, but they're being split into many signals. So they can't be understood or received by an outside receiver. And with the plants looking like humans, she realized that somehow the human DNA and the plants were merging together. So I think she took all of these little clues and figured out that everything was being split apart and it was kind of merging together.
Okay, so
blending together.
So this zone, it splits apart everything, then mix it and then immerse back, and let's see what will happen, right?
Like a melting pot, yeah.
Melting pot for everything, not only for DNA, for
cells, everything. Yeah, melting pot for cells.
Okay. Okay, Sergey, anything else? Would you like to mention? No. Okay, let's go. Okay, nice one. Abdul, could you describe this?
I see a bunch of skulls there and some body parts with chestal bone or what spinal cords and some bones here and there. And I see the tower light. I could see some kind of map there, like it shows that's South America and North America, and a door and a structure which has a face of that we call the guessing animal, football guessing animal. What is that animal name? Who is the winner? That animal guess the winner, right? What is that? In FIFA World Cup, it guessed the winner. Some animal. Octopus. It looks like the octopus face.
Octopus in the ocean? Okay.
Yeah. Looks to be an octopus faced tower. And beside that.
We had a class about this movie, like Clash Wars or something. It was a Kraken, right? Unleash the Kraken. Unleash Kraken.
Yeah. Clash of the Titans. Yeah.
Clash of the Titans. Yeah. Okay, so let's think a bit about this. Skulls and skeletons. So what does they represent? Why is they here? Why is they ordered in this? What is the picture? I don't understand.
Maybe someone arranged it to scare somebody.
Yes, who? And to scare whom?
To scare the humans who are coming towards the tower. Maybe aliens or the alien guy inside this tower.
It looks like a Mexican installation to me.
It doesn't make any sense to me. First, are there 9 clones of these men walking around somewhere? Why, they all apparently all of them got here. So none of the men died. They all got here. And then what? Cain was the last survivor and he laid out all their bones and went inside and killed himself. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand this picture.
Yeah. It looks like we will have a sequel, to explain all this. Okay, so lighthouse, yeah. And teacher, can you see this kind of a ladder on the right side of lighthouse? It's made of metal. What's the name for this?
We would call them rungs.
Metal rungs.
Rungs, yeah, ladder rungs.
Ladder rungs. Okay.
So it looks like there's a little balcony or a platform up top so you can climb up.
Yeah. We have them.
But usually inside has the staircase.
Yep.
But here it seems like an outside staircase.
Yeah, let's call it like a major emergency exit or something like this.
Yeah, fire escape.
Fire escape.
I don't know.
Okay, good one. Okay, let's. Wow. What I see? Well, Sans, could you please describe this picture?
And this is where Ventress. How do you call? What is that word?
Clone.
Yeah, no.
Annihilate. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Annihilate.
Spewing fire.
Yes. Fire flames. And, the atmosphere is something like mutating a black lava. How I'll say that it's a lava kind of mutation.
It looks like octopus's limbs, or how we call this. Usually, how we call this limb of octopus? What it has instead of arms and legs?
Trees, you mean?
Yeah, but it's, you know, when we have octopus, he has eight limbs?
Tentacles.
Tentacles. Okay, so
Tentacles.
these black things, they look like tentacles to me. I would say.
In a tree, there might be like vines. They're like rope. So tree vines or tentacles of a living creature. Yeah.
Okay. So it's vines or something. Yeah. Okay. Nothing more, right?
So my question was, why did this, assuming this alien is intelligent, which I'm not sure it is, it may be just instinct. Why did it wait until right now for Ventress to blow up and clone the girl and become the big ball thing? Well, you know, why did it wait until this moment? It had 10 men. Well, maybe it did that for the 10 men. Maybe each man, well, if each man blew up, there wouldn't be any skull left. So it just doesn't make sense.
Maybe it switches to a new goal immediately, you know. I see new goal, I annihilate the previous one, and I start to morph into the new one. Something like
maybe.
Okay. Sergey, please describe this one.
It's a fighting between Clone and Lena, and it's a lighthouse, and we can see the blue door, and we can see a lot of sand, maybe, and stair with roads of Croatia, white roads on the stair.
Stair with what? With this catwalk?
Roads.
Rails, kind of rails, you mean, yeah? So we have this spiral
roots. Corny.
Vines,
roots. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but we have this spiral ladder, right? And this how we call catwalk. What prevent you to fall from it?
Just a handrail.
Handrail. Okay, spiral ladder and handrail. Okay.
A catwalk is a walkway up in the air, suspended in the air. That's a catwalk.
I see. Thank you. Okay, so this clone, he's black. He's made of what? Of, I don't know. Of coal.
Lava.
Lava, yeah. Or something, yeah. Carbon dioxide, let's say.
It's odd to me that whenever she passed out, the clone passed out. That's kind of weird to me.
Okay, the last one. Abdul, tell us what is here.
Looks to be an hospital where Kane and Lynn meet together, and I see a hand wash tub there and was to wash hands, and they were kept inside a box which is covered with some kind of plastic, or it could be any metal, a transparent metal. Back to them, I see a ventilator, and beside to that some medical kits. I don't know what to check, but it is there, and a bed to sleep one guy.
In the left bottom corner, we can see some kind of device. I would say defibrillator, or how we call this. The electric thing that you put to your heart with electric signal.
That ventilator thing, I don't know, for oxygen.
Maybe
some kind of oxygen.
Maybe a pipe for oxygen.
Yeah.
To stabilize his condition.
Yep.
They might be giving some gas, could be oxygen or anything in which he is surviving.
Yeah, so nice movie. I hope you all enjoyed it. At least it made a good conversation. We have more questions that we can answer, right?
A lot to think about. Yeah.
We almost had less time than we should for all the questions. Thank you very much. See you next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye.
Bye.